I understand your biggest problem now. You are playing based on what your team wants to do, and that is not good if you're playing Rakan, because you're gonna be the person that can start a fight or disengage a fight. So instead of you wanting to play around what your team wants, you have to be the person that's going to take lead in making that decision. So when you hesitate like that, then a lot of the times, like, it makes sense that you're freezing up because you're like, oh, I'm not sure if what my team wants, but like two things. One, your teammates are plat, right? And if you go with what they want, then you're gonna stay plat forever. And like most of the time their decision making is not good, so you have to figure out if it's a good play or not, if it's if you want to disengage. And then two, like, yeah, you're playing an engage support, so you have to be the person that is calling the shots for a lot of these. So I guess, like, let's talk about what makes a good fight and what makes a bad fight for you. Like, what do you look for? What's a good fight for you and what's like a bad fight?
I guess the first thing is numbers advantage.
Yes, that's the
Do we have more people?
okay.
Next, if it's even, are we up in levels?
Okay.
And if it's still even, then do they do more damage? Like, can we outlive their damage or whatever?
Right, right. Are they
That's
more
kind of the
fed?
steps. Yeah.
Right. So those are, yeah, those are all like, it's really not that complicated, right? Of whether it's a good or bad fight, but it starts to become a lot harder when a lot of information is not clear. So like, oh, if we take this fight, can we potentially get ganked? Do we know if we win front to back just straight up because, other people could be fed? How our fight's going to be played out? A lot of these things are the variables on which we base on if we're winning or not. And the key to being a good engage player is all about awareness. That's why it's really important to keep tabs of like, Diana's dead, or like, oh, Diana's walking a base right now. I just saw Darius bot. We have a little window here to force a fight because it's going to take them a while to rotate. It's like all of these things kind of, you have to be thinking about constantly, looking at the scoreboard, seeing who's strong, who you want to play around. All of this, you want to be aware at like all times about these things. So when you do see an opportunity, you can instantly just like go for it. When you hesitate, you can't hesitate for too long. Otherwise, the opportunity or like the window of when you can engage, of when it would be good, is going to be gone. We need to not play around our team posturing. We need to play around thinking about those variables and base it off of that. So how do you feel about this matchup bot lane? Tristana, Rakan versus Ashe, Lulu.
I think we have a chance to play aggressive, especially if I engage and Triss jumps in,
30
and we can
seconds
easily
until
burst
minions
someone.
Yeah,
spawn.
Or she can jump in first and I'll just come in.
yeah.
Either way, good burst. But if something goes wrong, then we can get punished pretty heavily. Ashe, W, and then Lulu, Q, and Polymorph. Like, if I go in and I mess up, I could die on the spot.
Yeah.
So it's kind of tough, but we could win
Minions
it.
have spawned.
Okay. Nice. I think, yeah, I think if you guys if you can land a W, then like you guys can pretty much burst, but if you miss it, then you just get punished pretty hard, like you were saying. I think in this lane, I see that you started W. I think W here is really bad. I think when you're playing Rakan, playing into double ranged is generally pretty bad to start W, just because a lot of the time you don't have enough damage to burst like the enemy. So like your all-ins are kind of bad level 1. So I think in double range it's a lot better to start Q, so you can actually like threaten to, the enemy has to play your Q range as opposed to your W.
Okay.
Yeah. So when you're playing, do you usually play for level 2?
I try to, yeah.
Okay. This is kind of a knowledge check, but when do we get level 2?
After the 3 melee minions, second wave.
Nice. Okay. Perfect, perfect. I always didn't ask people that because it's like really important that people know. Just want to make sure. Oh, okay, so we go for that. Honestly, not a bad trade. Q. Playing for level 2 here. Oh, okay. I don't like... Oh, okay. I'm not a fan of the E start. I think you would have gone... You would have healed so much more on Q. Yeah, and then Ash is too far. And you guys kind of lost a lot of HP already. Yeah. Like your Tristana and you're both down health pots, and Ash and Lulu are still pretty healthy and they still have all of their pots. So these weren't like really good trades. Okay. Nice, but you guys made it up for because Nocturne came bot. Were you playing aggressively because Nocturne was bot, or was it just kind of like...
Yeah. Yeah, I saw him on his last camp there, and he started posturing towards the tri-bush.
Well, prior
So,
prior to this fight, like, did you have in mind that like Nocturne was going to gank? Is that why you were playing aggressively here, or this was kind of just like level
no,
2,
at this point, that's just, I
playing for
think
level
that's,
2?
yeah.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I think man, I felt like the first trade you did was actually pretty decent right here, but you guys are like so low after like the second trade. Yeah, I mean, that seemed like you were winning, but then we started taking a lot of poke from Lulu. Yeah. We could definitely position a lot better here from getting hit from Ashe. Yeah, like we could be standing behind, dipping down to the minions. It's a little hard because Lulu is sandwiching you, but we are taking a lot of damage early. But it like worked out because Nocturne comes and then you guys kill. Okay, good. When you recall, do you look mid? Like how are your roam timers? How would you say your roaming is?
Um, yeah, I'd say my own timers are decent. Um, I look mid, but I usually just come back bot
Okay.
if there's nothing. So
Okay.
I think here I hadn't warded at all, so I wanted to get vision down,
Okay.
possibly.
Oh, we're going deep. Okay. See Diana top. Okay. I'd be a little hesitant to take a fight here, just because this is such a big wave.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Tristana has to... Tristana wants to get the CS. She can't really follow up on trading because it's just bad for Tristana because she either has to hit or get CS, and this is a big wave, so probably want to wait. I'd always be pretty hesitant when a big wave is here to trade unless they're like super free. Okay, Nocturne is double kill Diana. So at this point, you see that Nocturne kills Diana top. Um, what are you thinking of the jungler's pathing or like not really as you're playing?
Um, right now I'm not thinking about it,
Okay.
but I do know that the first drag is coming up,
Okay.
so grubs are coming up shortly after. So my goal right now is to try to clear out this wave so I can back, and then depending on where he goes, I'll see if I can help out with that.
Where your jungler goes or where the enemy jungler goes?
Where my jungler goes, because he's pretty strong, so I think I'd want to play around that.
Okay. We can actually we can actually kind of tell where sorry, not Lulu, where Diana is going to be pathing just because we saw her top.
Right.
Do you have like, do you know like jungle tracking or like
Yep.
jungle routes? Okay, so where would Diana be here?
Um, well, if she died top, then she might have just finished the top clear,
Mm-hmm.
so she could be heading bot.
Yeah, she's 100% heading bot, and that's because you saw her top, so she's clearing bot to top. Her only camp that's going to be up is going to be the bot side. So you should kind of have it's good that you know that because you should be doing this like every game where it's like, okay, well, Diana just died top, she's recalling, she's most likely going to be bot. And you can kind of use this as like an estimate for when she's going to be around bot and kind of like play around that. So like for example, right? I would probably say she in like 15 to like 45 seconds she's going to be bot side just clearing her camps and she could potentially gank bot. So I want to be a little cautious. You do have vision of her blue side, which
Mhm.
you'll be able to tell. But if you didn't, then you can kind of use this as a time to be like, okay, I think she has like this time window to gank me, to gank us. So we want to be a little careful if we didn't have wards. But yeah, it's good to just keep like a mental kind of like note for yourself on the jungler when you do have information like that. So you'll be more
Yeah.
aware. Yeah.
Do you know how long it takes to clear a side? Because I jungle track pretty often at the start of the game,
Yeah.
like until around 3 minutes 30 seconds.
Uh-huh.
I'm kind of on the lookout, but then after that, I don't do it as much, and I don't really know how long. Like if Diana just died top, I don't know how. Like you said, 15 seconds or so, she would be clearing.
Or she'd be like walking
Um,
down. It would take her like 15 to enter the jungle and then like I don't know, I'm just throwing out like kind of estimates. You kind of get like a feel for it. Early game it's definitely a lot easier because every jungler has like a pretty standard clear of like what 320 something like that. So it's just like yeah, it's a lot harder later in the game just because enemies clear faster, but if you kind of know which way they're pathing, then it gets a lot easier. Like obviously jungle their paths can switch
mhm,
throughout the game, but as long as you have like as long as you kind of know like what camps are up and stuff, which a lot of the times you don't know, you kind of have to base
right.
it on the information of like how they're moving. But
Mhm.
yeah, it's a good start where we are. Okay. Oh. Yeah, okay, so this is an example of like why I said it's like important to kind of know that, because I think your first trade was fine and Tristana definitely overdid it, but yeah, we kind of overstayed, right? We should have. She's on vision too, actually. So like this was like kind of silly that we died here. I'd probably be pinging my Tristana back because Diana's here. Um, yeah, as much as you want to fight, it's just bad. And for solo queue, when your teammates are making a bad decision, it's a lot of the times it's better for them to solo die than for you to commit and die with them because it puts you both behind, right?
Mhm.
Okay, yeah, like for example, like right here, you're kind of you know Diana's coming because you're pinging retreat, but you still kind of stay to give her an E. You should just leave her here. Like this is like it's so bad that you stay to try to like E her. Yeah. I think this is one of the biggest skills you need to break out of plat is to know what fights you can take that are actually close and what are close or you can win and which fights to kind of abandon. I think support players have a very bad issue of trying to follow every play that their team does, but if you follow your plat, emerald, whatever teammates every play, then like you're gonna stay that rank. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta like you gotta know like which ones you should stay with and which ones you shouldn't.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I think it's a little tough too, because I feel like the lower ranks, like gold, silver, and whatever,
Uh-huh.
you can do a lot of wrong plays, but
Yeah.
just being there will work.
Yeah.
So I think, um, like I said earlier, like I climbed from bronze to plat last month. So I
Uh-huh.
mean, I was playing like that a lot, just because that's kind of how it is
Right.
at like the really low ranks. So I guess yeah, just thinking about that more would help.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. It's yeah, it's like climbing from those ranks as support is really well, first of all, it's like a nightmare to do because your teammates are just bad, but also it like builds a lot of bad habits for sure. Um, but as you climb up the ladder, you'll get punished more, and that'll be kind of the cue for you to like. I mean, you're either going to learn or you're just gonna stay stuck, right? So
Mm.
yeah, get into the mindset of being okay with leaving your teammates if they're making a bad play. This was tragic, but it happens. Oh, like I would say this is a good time to go in because this is actually like pretty close um where you can actually kill. Double E. Nice. Like that's so worth it. That's so worth it for you guys. Wow, your Nocturne is so fed. He's 6-0 at 530. Holy. All right. 015. You're coming out of base. Your Nocturne is resetting. What's the plan here? Oh, you're pinging on the way to Void Grubs. Okay, so Void Grubs are spawning in 11 seconds. Nocturne just took a back. And you want to go to Grubs. Now, normally, this would be a good play. But there's one reason why this play is not good. Do you know what it is?
Um, I don't see why it isn't.
Okay, so this play is not great because your wave is bouncing away from your tower. So
Right,
Tristana is gonna have to push this in because the wave is pushing out, right?
right.
The thing is, if Lulu stays bot, then Tristana can get zoned off and just she'll lose like a lot of waves. So as much as you would want to roam to Grubs here, you would have to run bot and then shove this out and then you could go.
Okay.
I think I'm assuming like she's not gonna get punished here, but let's see. You're spotted. I think Lulu might have. Oh, Lulu's here. Yeah, like normally if these guys in like higher ranks, they would freeze this wave here, and then they'd most likely just give up Grubs because they know that you're not here, and then their jungler can come down and just dive Tristana. And that is like, if that happens, that's so bad because Tristana is gonna lose like so many waves, but because these guys aren't that good, like Tristana doesn't get punished, so this play is okay. Oh yeah, see Diana's bot. So we want to be more mindful. It's not grubs aren't something that like you can just roam to. A lot of the times you want to make sure your wave bot is good before you move.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so you're spotted. Locking down. Diana's bot. She's pretty low. What are we thinking here? What's the game plan?
Um, at this point, I don't think I really have one aside from just getting XP. Try to
Okay.
catch up for the roam.
Okay. So I think at this point you can look for a lot of plays, but you can also like shift your mindset into being like, okay, Nocturne is 6-0-1, Mel is 2-0. Their bot lane is pretty behind, but actually their bot lane is like pretty similar to you guys, and you can actually like play the lane very neutral and like not really look for anything, just because that way Nocturne will just carry. Like the only way you guys really lose this game is if Ashe and Lulu get really strong. I guess like technically Nocturne can throw his lead, but I think this is like a pretty important like skill to have, is to just get carried. Maybe it's an enchanter mindset thing, but it's like, oh, if my jungler and mid are this ahead, then I'm most likely just gonna play very passive in lane. Like there's no reason for me to want to try to win lane, because if things are even now, if bot just goes even, then Nocturne and Mel just take over the game, right?
Yep.
Yeah.